Let's give some new and alternate evolutions to Gen 9. Hey all you nerds, Gabe, aka Froopy Art here, and if you were like me, you felt a little let down by some of the evolutions, or lack thereof, in the Paldea region. Now, I've got 4 new designs for you today, a bit of cool, a bit of cute, and the last one in particular is pretty ridiculous. But let's see who is first up to the bat. Squawkabilly. I think most people agree that this isn't a bad design. I mean, it's nothing spectacular, it's fine. It has a decent amount of theming, with it likely based on monk parakeets and invasive species that form these huge flocks and can come in the various colors that Squawkabilly shows up in. So the big flocks, and the colors, and the slight gang influences, and the jacket, pompadour design, it all works well enough. But some might argue that it doesn't go far enough, and rather than a redesign, we're obviously going to give it a much-needed evolution. We've had some other gang member and hoodlum Pokemon before, you know, the Simi-Monkeys, Scrafty, Pangoro, but I wanted one that felt really punk. It wasn't over the top, but there was definitely a stint in middle school and high school where I dressed like a nerdy little skater kid with some punk vibes, so I want to do the punk rock look justice here. First and foremost, we have to do the mohawk, right? This also works particularly well when I pull in some of the more ornate head crests from cockatoos. I mean, they've already got that fanned structure of a mohawk. After that, we're playing up the jacket of feathers with a nice popped collar, adding some ridges on the beak that look like piercings, and a few studs on the jacket to get that punk look. Lastly, I'm coloring this as the base Squawkabilly green, but the idea is that the different variations would have their mohawk and accent colors change depending on which one you have. And there it is. Maybe a little too over the top now, but you'll have to let me know what you think. I imagine these leading the gangs of Squawkabillys as flying and dark types. Oh, and I was also racking my brain, but I couldn't come up with a good name, so if you have suggestions, I'd love to hear it down in the comments below. Okay, let's see who is next. Dunsparce, or Dunsparce? I guess I'm not 100% sure on how to pronounce that. Anyway, here's the thing. I think Dunsparce is absolutely hilarious. All right, Game Freak knew that us Pokemon fans have been clamoring for a really cool Dunsparce evolution for years and years. Everyone and their mom has been picturing this gigantic and majestic dragon. So to have them reveal the new Pokemon and say, "Ha, lol, it's same Pokemon but more lump." I mean, that's just funny. That's funny. And it took some guts to do, and there are some people who are still mad about it. So what I'm going to propose would not be replacing Dunsparce, because again, I think it's hilarious, but instead, this would be a rare split evolution that would replace the kind of 3-segment form that we get. Now, I know everyone wants a gigantic dragon, but I feel like that idea has been done to death, so we're going to go a different route. Looking back at the original inspiration for Dunsparce, the Tsuchinoko, it's a weird round snake buddy from Japanese mythology, I read that in some accounts it would bite its own tail, which made me think of a very silly urban legend cryptid, the hoop snake. This is a big snake in the deserts of the southwestern United States that supposedly bites its own tail and rolls at you. Very, very silly, very fun. So our new Dunsparce evolution will be a big wheel. I made sure to give it the 3 rounder sections, again because it would be essentially replacing the 3-segment form of the Dunsparce. But we're also letting the pose kind of do most of the heavy lifting. Some additional head spikes make it a hair more intimidating while still remaining cute as heck. I imagine it would flap its 6 wings in a weird way to keep itself rolling along. I think this is fun as heck. And kind of the same way that the 3-segment form of Dunsparce works, I would imagine that this is just a very rare and unpredictable evolution. And rather than throwing the dragon typing in there, I think that like ground and flying would be pretty neat. And as for the name, it could be Dunspin or Hoopars or Dunsparse. I don't know. Let me know if you have better suggestions for that one. Okay, let's see who is up next. Goldengo. Woof! What a divisive Pokemon. There are a vocal few who think this is just a bad design. I'm not one of them. I think it's fine. I mean, the belt is a little odd, but other than that, it's not bad at all. Instead, the vast majority of us found it pretty underwhelming for the 1000th Pokemon. A little too cute, a little too plain. So this is an instance where we are going to be replacing the evolution completely with something that has just a bit more bite. When I saw Gimmighoul and its chest form, I was certain that we were going to be getting a Mimic Pokemon. I was so excited and then so let down when we got a humanoid stack of coins instead. If you don't know, Mimics are shape-shifting monsters that are more often than not disguised as treasure chests. You'll find them all over the place in fantasy media, but it was first invented for and is most recognizable in Dungeons & Dragons. And as a big D&D and tabletop role-playing game enthusiast in general, I couldn't let this inspiration slip by. So, a big, mean treasure chest. The defining features to get in there were the eye, though sometimes Mimics have like a bunch of eyes, but we're gonna go with one, and then the tongue, which I was able to do out of a couple stacks of coins. I also threw in some arms, which are not typical for a Mimic, but I like to keep in mind how a Pokemon would move around, and this thing spookily dragging its boxy body around is pretty fun. On the last touch, to give it a little extra pop of color, was adding gemstones to our treasure chest that serve as jagged teeth. But what do you think of this Dungeons and Dragons themed Pokemon? Sufficiently scary? And for the name, I was thinking, Ghoulmic, maybe? I don't know, I'm struggling with these names. Let me know what you think. Okay, we have one more evolution, and who's it gonna be for? Klawf. Ah, yes, Klawf. Now, this evolution is not really needed. Klawf is perfect just the way it is. Unfortunately, it's just not nearly as strong as some of us were hoping, so we're gonna slap an evolution on this bad boy. And we're gonna go in a weird direction with it. Okay, so as is, Klawf is all rocky and it hides itself amongst the stony cliff faces. But what if it wanted to explore other areas and still stay well hidden? Okay, we're gonna pull in some long-legged inspiration from the spider crab to get this evolution high off of the ground. Next up, the tufts that Klawf has on its joints are going to sprout and grow longer until they start to resemble palm fronds. So now the evolution is able to walk around no problem, then freeze in place and appear like a small grove of palm trees. It would still remain pure rock type, it's just appearing like trees, which is very, pseudo-woodo-y. But, I don't know. I guess it could be dual type. You'll have to let me know what you think, if it should be mono rock or rock grass. But anyway, this is just a silly bit of fun. Just check out the massive eyebrows. Love them. Okay, there you go. Our big rocky crab pretending to sway in the breeze. Name could be, Clawfron or something like that. Y'all are better at naming stuff than me, so let me know what you think. And you'll have to let me know what you think of this whole batch of evolutions for the Paldea region. Which one is your favorite? Are there any other Pokemon from Gen 9 that you wish got an evolution or a different evolution? Alrighty, I'll catch you in the next one. Later, nerds.